Hello, collectors. Welcome again to For Collectors for another episode of 5 cards every collector should own. Once again, I am John, the 3D80s Kid, your host for this session. And I have 3 people who, again, volunteered. They all sent an email to join this episode, and it's going to be a great time. So stick around and check it out.
Welcome to For Collectors.
All right, so 5 cards every collector should own. The basic ground rules is these are 5 cards in your collection that you love, and you're going to share why you love them and why everyone should get their own copy because they are awesome. And the ground rules then is the first 4 cards should be valued where if someone bought them now, they should be around $100 or less. And then that 5th card is the one that would be the card worth saving up for, as in unlimited budget as far as what I've given, ground rules. And, it's the extra special, something that should be still a part of a collector's collection. So with that said, if you want to be on a future episode, all you have to do is reach out. Email forcollectors@yahoo.com. That's spelled out FOUR collectors as all one mashed together word at yahoo.com. I probably already shown it on screen so you can see it right there in front of you. But I have 3 great guests who volunteered to join me through sending that email. That's all it takes. And now they are here on screen with me. And we're going to start bringing them on. We have got a guy who does not have a channel, could certainly do one, but has decided to just be a member of this community as a commenter and contributor. And that is David. Welcome to For Collectors.
John. How you doing?
Great to see you again. You have been on the channel before as part of Trade Nights on screen.
Yes.
So, yeah, great to have you again.
Great to be here.
With his first appearance on For Collectors, we have got a newer channel in the community. Links for the channels will be down below. Make sure you subscribe to these guys and give them your support. It is Tony of Tony Talks Cards. Welcome to For Collectors.
Hey, John. Hey, David. Thanks for having me on, John.
It's great to have you. Thank you for volunteering. I love the outpouring of support people have had for this show. I've still got a queue of people in line, so there'll be more episodes to come. But thank you for reaching out. So
of course, anytime. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and Tony, I've watched a few of your videos so far. You're a great start on your YouTube journey here, and definitely down below, people click that link and subscribe. Support your fellow collectors. So
thank you.
Last but certainly not least, longtime member of the community, has been also on the channel previously, I believe on some trade nights, is Adam of Adam's Card Closet. Welcome, Adam.
Hello, John and fellas.
Hey, Adam.
Great to have you again on For Collectors, Adam.
Thank you. My pleasure.
All right. So with that, I think we are ready to start seeing some cardboard. What do you guys think?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's switch our screen mode up here to get better view of the cards. Let's let David here go first with the first card today.
All right. My first card is a theme card, John. So it's got a mission to it. So it is a 3D 80s card. So it's my Mike Schmidt. This is the 1981 Kellogg's 3D Mike Schmidt. Mike's one of my favorite players. I have a personal collection of him. And I've always wanted to ask you, why are you the 3D 80s kid? So that's the lead in on that card.
In my very first YouTube video of talking very wooden style to the camera, I explained that obviously I grew up in the 80s, so I'm an 80s kid, and the 3D was essentially a shortening of the fact that I am the proud father of 3 kids. So it was sort of in my head as triple dad, and that became 3D.
Got it.
So
Got it.
3
Got it.
teenage boys that are now 19, 17, and 15 of age. So
Fantastic. All right. Well, good. Yeah. I mean, a lot of these 3D cards, I just think they're super cool. I mean, I've got some others, they just, they're, I think just way cooler than the traditional cards in the 70s and 80s. They're very affordable. This is the Schmidt in a 10. I think it's $50 maybe. And they have the Kellogg set from the 80s. They're in the 70s. The rolled gold in 1970 has all the all-time grades, so you can get Ruth or Cobb. And I mean, this Gehrig is a 10. It's under $100. I just feel like they're really underappreciated, and they're just super cool. And I have a feeling some of the modern collectors will migrate to them at some point, and the demand will rise. So, just a theory.
yeah, they are cool looking and super cheap when you're talking those 80s versions versus the 60s or
Yeah.
late, early 70s.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, there's a couple of premium ones that carry the big premium, but most of them you can get in high grade for almost nothing. So,
all right. Well, great first entry there, and that thank you for the honor, the link to me. So I appreciate that. So, all right, Tony. I guess first out, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you do on your channel before your first card here?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, John. Yeah, so I've been on YouTube about, I think, 6 months almost to the day, I think today or this week. So talk a lot about vintage football, vintage baseball. I also collect unopened packs, boxes, wax packs, rack packs, things like that. Shown some of those on the channel too. I'm getting more into vintage baseball and kind of rebuilding my vintage football PC with some key players and key rookies. And also talk about some sets, how I collected when I was younger. And I've also started doing some interviews with other collectors too, which I really enjoy doing as well, and hearing their stories and how much we are similar in some cases, and how we collected in the 80s and 90s, and we remember some of the same things and the same just cool memories that we can all reminisce about now 30 some years later. So I love listening more than talking sometimes. So that's been a good kind of pivot in my channel too. I enjoy doing that.
Great. And your first card now.
First card is the oldest card, not in terms of years, but one I've owned the longest, and it's not in the best shape. So in the best shape, it would qualify for the 5th card, not this first card, but it's in a little rougher shape I got when I was a kid. And so the first card is a 1976 Walter Payton rookie card. So the background of this one is I'm a Bears fan, love Payton, didn't see him but his last couple years in his career. But my dad, when I was in probably 4th or 5th grade, had a friend who had a bunch of old cards from his grade school collecting period, all rough. There's a big crease, let's see, right about here, going from kind of top to bottom here, and said, hey, you want these for $50? He got them for me, and this is one of those cards in that collection that I bought. I'd love to have a better graded one at some point. It's pretty poor right now. I'll keep it raw like it is, but favorite team, favorite player, and it's a memory from when I was in 4th, 5th grade, and kind of one of my first vintage cards I got, and definitely not worth card number 5, but one I enjoy and will always keep in my collection.
Oh yeah, that's a bigger card if it's obviously not
not
in rough shape.
You can see some of the creasing there too. So yeah, centering's not too bad, but it was dropped and pushed and shoved somewhere by somebody else. But I'll always have that memory of the card, so really enjoy that.
Such a great player and good person. Unfortunately, he died so young. But
he did, yeah. When I was in college, I remember hearing about him dying, and I was probably 19, 20 years old, and he was so young and such a great player. We have an award, of course, named after him as well, and just a great Bears player for a Bears collector like myself. So want to get a better one in the future too, but for right now, this will do for right now.
It looks great from here.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice looking one. Other than that crease, I mean, the coloring's good and the centering's good.
The centering is great. I mean, it's really not
too
far off. The back is just normal, but just the crease and the light you can see, and so but it's more the memory of the card that gets it for me. So when I got it.
Well, great. Good opening there. All right, Adam, YouTube veteran. Now, you want to talk a little bit about your channel first?
Sure. I sit there and to be honest, I'm like a very eclectic collector. A lot of people don't really know that about me because they typically know me for either TTMing and or as well my Chipper Jones collection, Braves collection. You know, it's kind of known for that, but actually you got like 144 unique Hall of Fame autographs in my collection. I also try to collect all the post-war Hall of Fame rookie cards, and you know now of course PC multiple guys in multiple sports and so on and so forth as well too.
All right, cool. What do you got to show for card number 1?
All right, card number 1. Since I actually went and watched Tony's channel and I found out that he's a fellow Bears fan like I am
There
myself,
you go.
I sat there and said I'm going to pull out a Gale Sayers card because actually Gale Sayers is my favorite Bears running back. Walter
Nice.
Payton a very close second, but I'm going to show a beautiful 1970 Gale Sayers and a PSA 7.
Wonderful. That's
Gorgeous
great.
card.
And I don't know. I just love the movie, you know, and so on and so forth. Brian's song, so I just always did that. And, you know, he just was a legend, that if injuries didn't get him, he would have probably had the same kind of career stats that Walter did.
It's
Yeah, I love that movie,
crazy.
Brian's Song. I saw that when I was younger, and that was a great movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with Billy D. Williams, James Caan, great actors too.
And,
So
Yep.
and beautiful rookie card that you have of Walter. I was blessed enough to get mine graded last year, and it came back a 5. So it's just a beautiful, iconic card too.
Excellent.
Good job on having that one in your collection as a Bears fan.
it's crazy that you can get football guys of that caliber in a 7 grade, and it still fits the criteria. I mean, you can't do the same thing with baseball players. So
No, that's what I was digging about last episode too, when you had the all football guys on.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and the fact
All
that he's
right.
tied to the movie is really cool too. You know, that'll make it relevant forever, don't you think? I mean, that card will always be relevant.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, it definitely elevates him having that movie. So yeah, especially with Lando playing the part. I mean, who's cooler than Billy D. Williams?
Great card.
But, all right, I guess I will take a turn. I know it's my 5th show, and I'll just keep throwing cards as long as people want to be on this show and I get to host it. So
Yep.
decided to go with the theme today of left-handed pitchers. So my first offering, guy who was phenomenal, competing with another pitcher who's a righty for really the best pitchers of the era. And they both get overshadowed by the genetic freak that is Nolan Ryan now. And this card would be of Steve Carlton. The other pitcher I'm referring to would be Tom Seaver, which I feel both of them were better. But, Nolan Ryan just lasted till he was 50 years old and built up his numbers so far crazy that now his cards are worth a fortune, and these guys end up being bargains.
Oh, Lefty sits there and has over 4,000 strikeouts, and he's one of
He
the very
does,
few that have
yes.
done that. Beautiful card, representation of the great Lefty.
Yeah, I actually bought this one from Don Field of Dreams, and he picked some good cards. So
Yeah, nice centering on that too. Just crisp and clear, simple, and see the cardinal there on his jersey.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool. I've used this a couple times in thumbnails because of it saying cards, where I'll have it say like baseball cards or vintage cards, with this card being the cards part of it. So,
cool.
Yeah, I think you can get this one in this grade for only like $50. So, yeah, which is
nice.
It's nuts. It's too cheap, but yeah, thanks to Nolan, he's relatively forgotten, and I guess pitchers are lower cost usually anyways. But all right, we're back around the horn. David with card number 2.
All right. First of all, I agree with you. Carlton and Seaver very undervalued, and they have tons of great cards. So that was a great pick, John. All right, my next up, you may have heard of him. This is a 1974. It's technically a World Series card, but it is of Willie Mays. And this is game 2 of the World Series against Oakland. And what's interesting about this card, other than it's technically Willie Mays' last card, because his last card was really 73 tops, was this picture of him is him getting a hit to break the tie in that game in the 12th inning to drive in a run. It was a little blooper hit. It was his last hit as a major league player. And I just think this card is kind of under the radar a little bit, right? He was with the Mets. And, his legacy with the Mets wasn't great, kind of stumbling around in the outfield. I think even on this hit, he may have stumbled around first base a little bit. He was clearly laboring to get there. But, the fact is he came into pinch hit, broke the tie, and basically won the World Series game for the Mets that year in his last hit. And he ended up scoring that same inning. I think it was the top of the 12th. So his last run as a major leaguer. So anyway, I just think this is a great card. This is an 8. And honestly, I think you can get this for like $30, like the cost of the grading. They're really cheap. They're hard to find in really, really high grade. These 74s are tough, but I don't know. I just think this is a really undervalued, underappreciated Mays card. So I thought I'd
and it totally falls on the radar not being, his standard issue card, which unfortunately there's not one in that year, so you don't get his final stats on any Topps card. So
yeah.
That's a great one. Yeah, me being new to baseball, vintage baseball, I didn't know he had a card after 73. So it's great to see that in action there too. That's cool.
Yeah. It's a cool shot too. I mean, he's, and the story behind the hit. I mean, I think he had 2 at-bats in the World Series. So I don't know if this is certainly the one he got the hit in, but either way, it's a cool action shot. And I've always liked these 74 tops. So
cool pick there. All right. Tony with card number 2.
Yeah, so speaking of last playing days cards, I'll kind of move back in order from 76 and kind of go back in terms of older cards, when they were issued. So my number 2 card is the 1973 Roberto Clemente, his last playing days card. And like you alluded to, Dave and John, I'm a stats guy. I like seeing stats on the back. And this card, again, although it's pretty, not perfectly centered, of course, like so many of these are, it's got his 3,000 hits on the back too. So I like seeing, the complete list of all the hits, the years, minor and major leagues there. Sorry about the glare there. But again, it kind of documents the entire career in one card. And again, the fact he landed on exactly 3,000 hits, and that's what shows on the back. And it's also nicely centered too, on the front, made it a kind of a double win for me to pick this one up as my first early foray into vintage baseball and Clemente as well. So that's my number 2 pick right there.
Great card. Yeah. Great card.
There's some guy that's called Clemente Collector too, I think, on these channels every now and then too. So I think he'd appreciate that as well.
I've never heard of the guy. I don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah, maybe I got that wrong. Maybe it's a wrong name there. Yeah. So
what does that card cost in a 5, Tony?
That's I think card. I may have paid 50, I want to say. Yeah. Could have been 45. Something like that. Maybe 4 months ago I got it. Something like that. So, yeah. I love the shot of, you see the umpire, the catcher, him. I like cards with different background, interesting views, the back of the outfield there. I'm not a pro in knowing what stadium that is, whether it's, postseason, preseason, or during the season, but there's lots of stuff right in that picture to look at and wonder about. So I do like that as well. Others probably know more about where that is and the background to it.
I think Hugo over at Signs of the Pastime, he's really good about knowing the stadiums where some of these photos.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That's the person that came right to my head too.
And I think he actually sat there and showed that. I think that's like a spring training ballpark or whatnot. I think he showed that card before on his channel. I could be wrong, but I think that's what I
looks like there's no one in the back. There's no one in the stands. It looks like just a green wall there. So yeah, that could be for sure.
Because it does seem like it would be a Florida shot with there being no outfield stands, because it seems like most card pictures from that era were either in New York or in spring training in Florida. So
yeah, I'm not sure if that's a New York Met catcher, but either way, I like the investigation you can do with cards and who's showing, and it kind of adds more to the depth of owning a card and knowing where this was taken. And if you can find out the day of the game, if he got a hit or not, right, a home run, it kind of makes it more in depth for me as a collector too. So
Yeah, cool. All right, good choice. We're Adam with card number 3.
Okay, so
Number
I'm
2.
going to say something about that Clemente for a couple of purposes. First of all, it's 73, which is actually my birth year, so that's one of my favorite sets because of that. And as well, my Grail card that I'm chasing right now happens to be Roberto Clemente rookie card. And I've saved up enough money, which I'll be picking one up at the Nationals this year. So thank goodness for that. But the card I'm showing
nice.
has 2 legendary and soon to be Hall of Famers. It's their rookie card. And these 2 players are top 5 of my favorite players to watch from the beginning of their career to the end. They kind of fall into that gap in time frame too. So I got a beautiful tops traded of Albert Pujols and Ichiro, and they're a tops paper rookie card there. And this is a PSA 7. So most of these cards I'm showing today in the below 100, I kind of comped them out around 80-ish bucks, most of them, except for the last one. It's kind of be right at that top 100 range. But that is my pick. I love the machine and Ichiro and so on and so forth. Just enjoyed watching them. And of course, I live in Arkansas, so it's kind of Cardinal country a little bit here too, and got to go up and watch Albert Pujols play one of his last couple of baseball games right before he wrapped his career up. Just means a lot to me.
Excellent.
Quite the card. I mean, 2 guys that are peak performers of that generation, and now I would say that is the ultimate 2 Hall of Famers on one card, rookie card of anybody, relative.
It's
Yeah,
trying to be
compared to that one.
second card with 2 Hall of Famers on the same card.
Yeah, that one has been surpassed with thanks to that one.
Definitely.
A little bit higher profile with those 2 guys. So.
Yes, sir.
What year was that, Adam? Sorry if I missed it on that card.
Which one? 2001 is the Pujols and Ichiro.
Okay.
But this is the 78, which
That's
is
78.
previously had Trammell and Paul Molitor.
Yeah, cool. Good pick.
All right, cool card there. All right, I guess my turn for number 2, continuing on with my left-handed pitchers. And I am also drifting backwards in time as I go along. This would be a card during the peak of his heyday of performance. Was one of the brightest stars for a short period of time, and the left arm of God there with what I view as one of the best looking cards with this great smile on this 63 Fleer Sandy Koufax. And you can have one in this grade for right around $60-ish. So not too bad. And one of his best looking shots. I mean, some of them aren't the greatest picture. Like, I'm not a big fan of his hatless, almost like you didn't know the camera was taking a picture of him, 1960 card. And a few of his others he's kind of glaring at the camera. But so
I love a cool set like that too, because it's low number of how many cards are in that set. So it's a relatively cool set that you can actually go ahead and go out and collect the whole set now too if you're a set collector. So
oh yeah, and this one's being cheaper since they weren't able to get Mantle before they got the cease and desist. So
do you know, John, on that, it looks like the little guy in the corner is a left-hand pitcher, of course, but do you know if there's a right-hand version of that person, if it's a right-hand pitcher?
There is. They did make a different little person there.
Yeah.
So
neat.
That was a cool little feature they put on those. So yeah, I love the 63 Fleers.
Yeah, those are cool. That's a cool little factoid, Tony. I didn't realize that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks like I'm a vintage football guy at heart. And the 1961 Fleer football has a similar look to that. It's very much like real photography of the person. It's at the field. You can see a lot of their face. It's just a unique, different type of picture. It looks like a lot like the 63 Fleer baseball when I looked at what you just said there. So yeah, that's great.
Yeah, one of the things they did that I especially like is they actually put Roberto Clemente on his card instead of Bob. Like, that I will never forgive Topps for doing. So.
Just
But
his friends called him Bob, John. His friends
I
called him.
thought no one called him Bob. That was the thing. Because literally, do you guys know the factoid of why he was number 21?
You
I
know?
don't.
Because there are 21 letters in his full Hispanic name of Roberto Clemente Walker.
Interesting.
Wow.
So do you
I
think
didn't
he
know
wanted to be called Bob if that was the reason he made his number 21?
How can that-
Got to shorten that number up now.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All right, next up. So I wanted to do an error card, and I looked at a couple. I thought about the Billy Ripken card, but I ended up going with this card. I just think it's got such an interesting story. This is the Aurelio Rodriguez card. It's his rookie card, 1969 tops. And the interesting story about that is not Aurelio Rodriguez. That is Leonard Garcia, who was the bat boy. And Aurelio and Leonard Garcia were playing catch in the field. It was spring training. And I think there was some dispute at the time about getting the pictures together. So they had sent out freelance photographers and they took a picture of the bat boy. And he is forever on this card. And they didn't even realize it till like 1973, I think, when it first kind of surfaced that this wasn't Aurelio Rodriguez. But anyway, I just find that really interesting. These cards are really cheap. This is an 8. Again, it's probably $30. And, if you don't know Aurelio, I can show you a couple of his other cards. See, I told you I'd slip in a few others. Here's a couple of his other cards. That's the actual Aurelio Rodriguez. Great player, died kind of young, got in a car accident, I think around 50 or 52. But he is the guy. He was a great third baseman. He broke Brooks Robinson's 16 Gold Glove streak, and won the Gold Glove in 1976. And the story on this card is, and I'm not sure if this is true or not, I couldn't verify, but the story is both Leonard and Aurelio signed a copy, so there was a dual signature on 2 cards, and then they agreed to never sign another card if the other one had signed it. So that's kind of the lore of this card. Of course, Aurelio's long since passed away. Couldn't find any information on Leonard Garcia if he's still around. But anyway, so there's a little bit of hobby lore surrounding this card.
So how much do you think the dual signed one goes for then?
I don't know. I'm thinking a cool million. Right? I don't know. I don't even know if it exists or whatever. I've never seen it. Truthfully, there's not a lot of signed Aurelio cards. Again, he kind of died a little bit young. And Leonard Garcia was a bat boy. I don't know that he's doing a lot of autograph signings, but if you can track him down, have him sign this. I'll send it to you. Okay, John, little homework project for you. Okay.
Sure. All right, cool pick there. I'd never heard about that one before. So.
Yeah, that's a neat story. Thanks for sharing that.
All right, Tony, you're up next.
Yeah, so John, you mentioned Steve Carlton and kind of who had overshadowed him, I guess, a little bit, Mr. Nolan Ryan. So that's my next card, going back in years of the card as well. I picked this up a few months ago, 1971 tops, Nolan Ryan. This card is cool for several reasons why I mentioned about the Clemente card being cool to me, at least. You've got a lot of stuff in the background. You've got Ryan, in mid-pitch, you don't see a lot of his face, of course, but mid-pitch. But then you see the big Royal Crown, RC Cola in the background. I love the advertising you can see on some cards, and some stadiums had more unique advertising, right? So Royal Crown is almost fully kind of shown. It's not cut off. The RC is also kind of more or less halfway there as well. I love the black border cards. I like 85 tops football. Black border again, too. It makes it tough to get the grading. But this one's got some corner chipping, things like that, but pretty darn centered. And I love kind of the counterculture of the lowercase N and R, Nolan Ryan, the big orange Mets at the top, and then lowercase pitcher, lowercasing being used, I guess, in these cards on these years. So kind of adds to some cool facts about the card there too. And again, one kind of funny story too. In high school, I worked at Arby's. I think Arby's may be a national chain. I'm not quite sure, but Arby's in high school was the only place I knew that served RC Cola. So I never liked it. Didn't like it at all. I liked Pepsi and Coke more than RC, but that's my RC Royal Crown Cola story that goes with this card. But yeah, I love this card and the picture, and him as a pitcher too, of course.
That's a great card, Tony. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. These can get pretty darn pricey in any sort of a higher grade, more than 3.5. But yeah, love the centering. It's not too beat up, and just the picture in the background too is great.
No, it's a good looking 3.5. There's not a lot of chipping. I mean, it's just a little bit of soft corner, it looks like.
Right, that's all I could see. And again, it's graded. It's got a 9, right? So maybe it's a more recent one than others, maybe. So who knows if someone had a bad day and what it could have been. But for me, in the price, I got maybe $88 I paid for this, I want to say. So, but yeah, love Ryan. I mean, my parents could have watched him, and I could have watched him, just given how long he played. So just he spans a couple generations. It's cool to have the card.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can get a card like that of him in 71, and then you can also get like the first refractors,
yeah,
of him that cost a fortune, unfortunately. But yeah. So he spans sort of like card eras of vintage to shiny, modern looking things. So.
Yeah, and I got the picture of him, actually a real picture of him on the back again, and not all the stats, although he was young in his career, he only had a couple years under his belt here. But again, just kind of a cool background with that, real quote unquote picture of him is there as well in the green background. So yeah, no, I mean, when I was growing up, I mean, Nolan Ryan, 5,000 Ks, the 7 no hitters, striking out, was it Ricky Henderson for one of those no hitters? I think it was always on Sports Center, and you saw him whiffing there. But then again, my parents could have watched him too, and so he probably has that connection to a lot of people of varying ages, and that's why he is what he is, and why his the lore of him may be always above certain players that maybe you could argue were better in some ways, but he's just so different of a person in how long he played and his power.
Yeah, the ability to still throw upper 90s fastball into his 40s just is nuts. A genetic freak.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so I love that card.
All right, good choice, Adam.
No Robin Ventura jokes.
I know that's
well,
number
we just
2.
Had one zing.
All right. So my next card I'm gonna show is actually, I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna sit there and the best basketball player of all time. So a lot of times people think his cards are going to be expensive, especially when they're graded copies. So I've got 3 inserts and actually a card from one of the iconic basketball sets of Jordan, and they're all right around about $80 to $100 range or whatnot. And this is a 1987 Metal Universe Championship. It has him jumping out of the Chicago skyline. And then Top Stadium Club, and this has kind of got like a little Foley etching, kind of design from Top Stadium Club. The Rayman insert is just a really beautiful card.
Yeah, never seen that. That's cool.
Wow.
And here's a 96-97, which is the Kobe Bryant rookie year, my favorite player. Sit there, and of course they got the acetate, in that box, and kind of got the clouds and stuff. So you just kind of looks like you seeing the player come out from the sky and so on and so forth. So it's just a really cool set. And of course, Kobe's rookie years in this, and Steve Nash and a couple of other big time Hall of Fame players. And those were 7 and 8 and 8. And here's a 9 that you can actually even get Star Power Jordan. It looks like, just kind of coming out from the galaxy as well, going up the dunk, flying through galaxies like he's a superhero.
And a 9 still fits under 100?
This one's, I've seen low comps about 80 to 85 and the higher comps about 125. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm a Bulls guy and a Jordan guy. I've never seen those cards. That's really cool to show. I stopped collecting around those years too, but that's really neat to see how he was produced on other cards too, with the shininess on them too.
Yeah, Jordan's one of my PC guys, and I just thought I'd, show them off just because of the novelty that you can actually collect it. Awesome looking cards of his for below $100.
That's right.
Oh yeah. Well, if you're not grade obsessed, it's a lot easier to do that for any of the modern stuff. So
yes, sir.
Yeah. Good choices.
Thank you.
All right. My next card, drifting back further in time, guy who is, I'd say, less prominent than he should be. He lost actually some of his career to World War II. If not for that, he would have had over 400 wins, which, there's only two other guys that even reached that level. So it is Warren Spahn there, and I've got his awesome looking 1954 Topps card with a great smile alongside the throwing pose of him there.
Yeah.
So
that's solid. It looks nice.
It's a really good look.
Still crazy to me that a card like this is still only in the 60, 70-ish dollar range. I mean, such a great picture. So
I would sit there and say underrated as well. I mean, just like you mentioned, if he had those other 2 or 3 years back from the war, he'd easily sit there and had insane stats.
You gotta love the cartoons and stuff they put on 50s cards too.
Yeah.
But yeah, love the blue background on these. Honestly, it's my favorite background color for that set. So, but
yeah, Spawn's so underrated. I think a lot of collectors get it, but he's just underrated. Never played in a big market really. And he's such a
playing mostly Milwaukee. Yeah, it gets overshadowed. So
I would sit there and say, probably pitched in the best game of all time too with Juan Marichal as well. Was it like 16 innings they both went and it finished 1-0.
Oh yeah, I forget who actually won then.
Juan Marichal did.
Okay.
I think it ended
Unfortunately for us Braves fans.
Well before we were born though, but yes. Since I'm only a year after you in 74, so. But all right, David up with his fourth card now.
And we're not required to say the year we were born, John. That wasn't in my contract, so I'm just going to lay it on.
Feel free to leave it a mystery. We'll just guess based off of the color of your beard.
Yeah, I think they ended that Marichal Spawn game with penalty shots. I think that's how they ended it. All right, so my next one, it's a pitcher, right-hander. You didn't tell me about the theme, John, so I didn't know.
This is my own personal theme, so feel free to.
Okay, all right, I'm going with a righty, and this is my my pitch to make to promote him for the Hall of Fame, hopefully next time around. But it's El Tiante, Louis Tiant. This is his rookie card. It's a really nice example. It's a 5. It's well centered. You can actually get a 6 and maybe even a kind of crookedy 7 for under $100 of his rookie cards. I just think that's crazy. This is the 65 Topps. I love this set. I just think it's a cool looking set with the banners. And anyway, he's a guy that maybe someday will creep in. He didn't do, I think, as well as they thought he would have done on the last round with the Old Timers Committee. I think he got less than 5 votes, but maybe the next pass around.
Well, it just sucks that he passed away before he could get in too.
No, I know, and there was, I don't know how true it is, but there was a lot of press that he said, "Listen, if you put me in after, he wants his family to boycott the ceremony." So and I mean, I think they listen. At least they got it right with Dave Parker. So we'll give him credit where credit is due
for that. Yes.
Yeah. And by the way, if you're a Jeff Wilson fan, it's pronounced Louis Taint. So
yeah, exactly.
How many seconds till that joke comes out? Countdown. I was waiting for that to happen. Yeah.
I wasn't going to do it.
I couldn't resist since the reveal of that special card that where I don't know if you guys saw it, where Eddie gifted a card to Mike Junkwack's Hero. It was during a For Collectors live stream where he opened the package, and Eddie Cardboard Chaos made the special label that said the Jeff Wilson Louis Taint collection, and it was a Louis Tiant card. Yeah. So yeah, couldn't resist saying it after witnessing that moment firsthand. So
Beautiful.
All right. Tony, card number 4.
Yeah, number 4. Well, I was last one was 71 with Orion. This is going to skip back, do my math right, 9 years back to 1962. Didn't see him play, but this card picked up a couple weeks ago, and it is a 62 post Roger Maris.
Cool.
So I think it's cool to have a food cereal card in your collection, whether it's this guy or somebody else. But I love this card. Again, I love stats, being like the Clemente, because it had all of his stats in the back, all 3,000 hits. And this one, again, there's no back to it. It's inside was a bunch of cereal. But on the front, right, it's very clearly shows his, 61 home runs on the front from 1961. So no need to flip it over and see the stats. It's all right there with his picture, little write-up about the 61 season there, and right on the front. Home runs, 142 RBI, batting average, and talks about his record-breaking year. So kind of all in one nice little card sums up that year for him. So maybe this may have been all of $9-10 I picked this up off eBay, I want to say. And so just cool, I think, to see that and that milestone, that record-breaking season shown on the front of this card here. So
Great choice.
Shout out to Dylan Double D, who basically dedicated his whole episode of this show.
That's why I picked this as well. I saw that and I'm like, oh man, every Maris was there besides maybe this one and others, of course, too. But I love when cards talk about the stats of the year before, which they, of course, do. And the year before is such a milestone year for whether it's Ryan, Maris, Mantle, whoever else. So for $9, I couldn't pass up that as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Part of a cereal box.
Yeah. Who knows what was inside of it? There's no staining of any, sort of like sugary thing on the back, although I'm not sure what this thing is. But either way, cut out by a kid or someone else many years ago, and it still survives. Wasn't thrown in the trash like other boxes were. So, yep. These are pretty cheap. You can find commons for, $1 or $2 each, even Hall of Famers football ones for crazy cheap. Just they're not in the best shape, of course, but kind of a cool way to collect that same year. Different pose of the picture, different picture of the person, different write-ups maybe of the person too. So yeah, I love this one.
Especially ungraded. Those are super cheap because you'll find like even graded, they're people really want the ones that it can actually get a number grade, which not all of them can. So
yeah, no PSA 10s likely out there from 62 post baseball or football.
Yeah. All right. Good card there. All right. Adam is up next.
All right. So going from basketball, probably all-time great, to baseball's probably all-time great. And I was watching last year where people were showing off this players, spotlighting him, their pickups of this guy and showing their PC of this guy. So it made me go on to eBay and spend exactly $100 for this card here. It's a 1967 Topps Who Am I and a PSA 3 of Babe Ruth. I just love the colors on it and the aspect that this is a multi-sport set too, so you can get some and multi people, in other words, from different genres, like political people and famous people of different avenues per se. So this is Babe Ruth. To me,
Cool.
I just love the colors on it.
That's neat. Are there modern players, quote unquote, in that set too? Are they all pre-war, or does it vary? Do you know?
I think there's only like 2 to 3 baseball players in this set.
Only 2 to 3.
In other sports like football, I think there might be 1 or 2 football players, et cetera, et cetera. But then there's like Thomas Edison, et cetera. I don't know if Thomas Edison's in it, but there's different people, famous people, political people, and stuff like that.
Historical figures. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that 52 Topps Look and See set, which just had Ruth is the only sports figure in that, and then it's all the same kind of folks, all the political and some entertainment and some historical people. It's pretty cool.
That's the other card I was thinking about showing, and I realized the price is a little too bit much for me to show that, Ruth, but I figured I'd show that one. So
yeah, it's hard to get that one on that Ruth under 100 from the Look and See. That's gone up a lot. Yeah. So what is that card? Does that card cost you about 100?
It cost me exactly $100 when I bought it in June of last year.
What's the grade on it then?
PSA 3. I mean, it looks good too.
It looks real good.
Yeah, that's surprising.
The colors pop. I mean, just registration and everything just looks good to me. So yeah, just the corners, kind of got some ding to them and so on and so forth, and then of course on the back they're a little dinged and a little bit stripped and faded per se on the corners.
And is that the one where you scratched off the front and
Yes,
and it appeared? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, those are
Oh.
cool.
Oh, so that's already scratched off because he was wearing some kind of disguise thing, right? Originally.
I'm not 100% familiar with the set, exactly how you scratched it off to see who was behind it, but yeah, something like that. Yeah.
All right. Yeah,
I
I've
think he was
seen
wearing a
those.
beard. I think he had a beard, didn't he, John? I feel like that.
I don't remember specifically, but I know they would put silly things all over their faces that it's supposed to be a kid set. So
Yeah. Cool.
I think that's right. It was, now that you mentioned that, it was kind of a beard and mustache type goatee looking thing on him.
Cool.
all right, cool card. Different choice to see. So all right, my next card, going back further in time, I am now into pre-war with a set that overall is really a bargain. If you want to dip your toe in the pre-war pool, the play ball sets have a lot of economical choices for Hall of Fame players. I mean, there's a few of the marquee guys get really pricey, but other Hall of Famers, you can have them in a very nice quality still for sub $100. In fact, this one cost me about $60. And that would be this Lefty Gomez of the Yankees here in a 2.5 grade. So love the black and white, just clean, crisp photography on these ones. Just a no frills, straight to the point set, and I just love it. It's my favorite of the my favorite of the 3 play ball years is just the plain black and whites. So, but
what's on the there we go.
But
250 cards in the series. That's cool. Yeah, seeing at the bottom there. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not a huge set to try to for set collectors either.
Yeah.
Obviously the DiMaggio and the Williams are quite expensive. Maybe a few other key guys. Greenberg gets a little pricier, but you can have a lot of Hall of Famers in this for sub $100 if you're okay with the lower grades. So
yeah, I mean, maybe is there a reason you think why it got the grade it did, or just centering, or just being an old card?
I mean, it's slightly off centered, but honestly, I haven't really examined it closely enough, so I can't tell just looking at it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see that it has a crease or wrinkle or anything like that looking at the surface, just with my poor eyesight. But yeah, so it's perfect for me.
Yeah, I agree.
No, great card. That's such an iconic set with DiMaggio and Williams. You're right. You can get all those other Hall of Famers, even in sort of mid grades, at really good prices comparatively. So if you're putting together the Hall of Fame run there in the 39, I mean,
the play balls are so cheap compared to the Gaudies earlier in the decade there. I mean, it's such a leap. So that's why it's a good starter entry into pre-war. In my case, so.
Well, it's a good transition. I'm going for I'm on my 5th card, right, John? Just keep me on.
This is the big one.
Here we go.
All right.
No budget.
I know. Well, listen, first of all, it was difficult narrowing this down. We all agreed to 5 cards. The most difficult choice was this card. It could have been any card in your collection. So not just the under 100. So, I decided to go big or go home on this one. And just give you a little preface. I feel like there's a couple of really cool sets in pre-war, sets of players. Obviously the 4 Cobbs and the T206 set are just an amazing collection of 4. The Ruths and the Gaudi are another really cool collection. And I feel like the third tier of that are the Gehrigs in the 34 Gaudis. And there's 2 of them. And so I brought one to show you guys today. This is this is number 37, which is the yellow one. And I just feel like this is such an amazing card. And, if you kind of link back to what I was saying about the Ruths and the Cobbs, those cards have just gotten nuts. I mean, if you didn't buy those years ago, you can't afford them. And, this is not a cheap card, and neither is the green one, number 61. But comparatively, you can still get these in low grades, for a couple $1,000. So if you save your money, you can have a Lou Gehrig card. And I just feel like it's kind of the third piece of those great sets that you collect that all the vintage guys collect. So I'll show it one more time. And
You bought that a while ago, right?
I did. Yeah, I'm actually it's with me. It's one of the reasons I picked it, because I'm going to get it recased. It's in the old SGC
The green label.
Yeah, the green label, but it's got really nice centering, a little off top to bottom.
But it's crazy. I mean, a 7.
Yeah, 7.
No, I know. It's a big card. I brought it. The Moeller. I'm in Cincinnati, and the Moeller High School show, which is a big show here, was yesterday and today. I brought it with me yesterday and was showing it to a couple of my buddies, and they were admiring it. So, anyway, I think these, if you're going to save up for a pre-war card and you want to get something iconic, I really feel like there's still some squeeze in this lemon, and they're just super cool cards. I mean, it's Lou Gehrig.
Because that
Yeah,
specific card, the
picture.
only way to get it to be 3 digits is if there's a chunk of the card missing.
Correct. Was there a 3-digit limit on this, John? I don't think there was.
There was no limit.
Okay,
So
all right.
you're fine, but I'm just,
I asked you the rules. Don't be changing the rules on
no,
me.
I'm just saying that
No, I
I
mean-
7. I haven't not even looked at what a price for that.
Well, remember, it's the old, I have to decide if I'm going to cross it over or not. I think, with PSA, most of my stuff's PSA, so I've been hesitant. But I looked at these and they even have lower pops than go back to the Cobbs and the Ruth, a little bit lower pops, and there's just 2 of them. And I just feel like it's kind of Gehrig's most iconic cards, or the 2 most iconic cards. And the green one actually has a little bit higher pop, I think, than the yellow one. Or I may have that reversed. I think the green one actually is lower pop, but for $2,000, you can get this in a low grade. So if you said save up for it, you save up, steal your kids' allowance, and, find a nice version of it. And I always love the yellow. I think the yellow is just a cool backdrop, and of course it's Lou Gehrig says on the bottom, so it's sort of, I don't know, always love that card. So
Yeah, I think the universal pop on those is somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,800 to 2,000, something like that. I know there's a few less of them than like the 33 Ruths.
Yeah.
Or even the 33 Gehrig. The 34s are a little bit lower number. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool card. Love the picture, so clear. Him smiling on that. The yellow.
It's such a cool smile. I'll
It's
give it to you
smart.
one more time.
All one of those cards are. Yeah.
Send that in. There you go.
Sir.
Yeah, that one is like the card that has been on the cover of so many different price guides and things like that over the years, just
Yeah.
iconic. So,
Yeah.
All right. Amazing way to start out the 5th card here. So, I don't think I've ever seen that one in a 7 before either. So. All right, Tony, tough act to follow there.
Yeah, no, it's tough for 2 reasons. Well, that's a great card. Congrats. That's a wonderful card to look at, and show around for sure. I will admit, before we jumped on the call and started recording this, that Adam's card is going to be my card, or vice versa. Adam showed briefly, I think, a card he had next to him. It's for a Cubs fan. If you're going to show that one, I'm not sure, but I was going to show that or another card. So I will show a different card unless we break the rules and have 2 we can show. But for right now, I'll move forward in time and go back to 1969 for my card. This is a 69 mantle in a 4. Old label, right? Green SGC label right there too. But one of the first vintage cards I got coming back into collecting baseball was this one. Because again, same story, kind of same song. I love the back that it has all the stats on it. So we have 536 home runs, I think. So it mirrors out exactly what his career was in hits and homers, all in one nice card there. And at the top, it says, 3rd on the home run list, and he retired March 1st of 1969. with an exclamation point after that, which is kind of funny. Like, he retired. He's yelling, excited about that for some reason. So, but again, love the card. It's pretty decently centered. Corners are kind of softer here and there, but this was probably low 300, something like that when I picked it up 5-6 months ago. And his last card, I can't afford the ones that are newer in his career probably ever, and I'm not really going for him, but to see his last playing days card and the stats in the back, I really enjoy that aspect of it.
Awesome card.
That's
It's so cool that you get his complete career stats. I wish Willie Mays had a similar card.
That would have been good. Yeah, to have the same thing there on one of his cards too. So yeah, like seeing that. So
I think those last year cards are underrated, right? When you can get the full stats, Tony, you're spot on. That makes the card so much cooler to have. I mean, that's what we did when we were kids, right? We'd look at the stats on the back. And
I memorized people's birthdays, where they were born, how many touchdowns they had, or they had the same birthday as me. I know that guy. And I still remember that from my head from like 1987, 88, who had the same birthday as I do. Because you looked at the stats to look at what they were, how good they were, and what they had done. And to have it all nicely. And Nolan Ryan's last cards, like in, I think, 94, 93 tops, you can't even see them. There's so many statistics here, so many years from 60.
The lines have to get small. You need a magnifying glass to
read. It's so amazing to see that he lasted that long, right? And the stats are so tiny. So again, Mantle wasn't too bad. I can still see those with my older eyes, and just a cool kind of extra piece to make it special to me, at least. What's on the back too.
Yeah, thanks to all the drinking and carousing, then you can still read the stats on his, right?
Yeah, very simple, but man, to see them all laid out there and where the higher output years, lower output years, just have them all tied up there in a nice way is pretty cool. So
gotta wonder what his career would have been if he took care of himself. But
yeah.
So it was already pretty amazing. But
yeah, amazing for sure.
All right, Adam, last card for you.
All right, so I chose a rookie card of one of my favorite players to had learn and study and read up on, and he even coined a famous phrase, "Let's play two." Mr. Ernie Banks, and I got this in a PSA 3, and I picked this up at the last Nationals I went to there in Chicago, and I was just thrilled to get this and add it to my collection. And I just love this set, just because of the portraits and the action pose beside it, and then the old, mascots and stuff from the teams and stuff, just logos from the teams. Just a beautiful set of just so many amazing cards, even like that beautiful Warren Spahn you showed earlier, one of my favorite cards, Eddie Matthews, and of course Hank Aaron's rookie, Hal Kaline, the Ted Williams in there. Just so many beautiful cards in this set, so I figured I'd pick one. And of course, I showed my Hank Aaron many times on my channel, so I figured I'd show Ernie Banks this time.
As a Cubs fan, I can give you appreciate that.
Great choice.
I love that one aesthetically. I love that like off-white they used there on that color. Way back when Theo was doing his like rookie card rankings for the different decades live stream stuff, that was my number one choice for aesthetics for the 50s for the appearance of the card. I like it better than the Aaron, but
hey, now I don't know about that.
Aaron was number 2, but that one I made number 1. I just like the white. The white makes it pop with the photos on there.
So, yeah, I agree. It is a beautiful card. Very beautiful.
So,
all right. Just like his face pops off of there too, so on and so forth. Just the joy and the smile that this man always played, just symbolizes that card even more to me, so.
I picked mine up last month. I'm really happy to have it. It's a great looking card. Yeah.
And he looks like such a kid with the smiling face there. So it's really cool. All right. Great choice. All right. My fifth and final card is not a rookie. It went a little farther back to, like I was talking, with Gaudy sets being a little more expensive. And this is a guy who, doing my analysis, I'm starting to see if I have all the cards collected yet to be able to do like positional rankings of guys. And those will be coming eventually once I finish out where I have the full run of like a top 10 sort of thing of guys. But I have already ranked him as #1 left-handed pitcher of all time. I mean, I know he didn't play against the full competition, but you can really only be judged against who you're able to play against. And his dominance to me is just as great as Koufax, and it lasted even longer. And this guy is a big reason why the Ruth Gehrig Yankees do not have the same rings like the Barra Mantle Yankees do. Is a big reason for this guy alone being a pitcher that stopped them. And that would be Robert Lefty Grove with this 1934 Gowdy card of his, which I was able to get it with a 1 because it's got this little ring here that's like imprinted, like somebody put something on the card.
Yeah.
That seems to be like the only big flaw, because otherwise I would probably guess this would be like a 4. And yeah, but because of that, this could be had for around 175, $200, something like that range now. So
Love that blue sky in the background against the blue Lou Gehrig says at the bottom. That's nice.
Yeah,
that's
I love
an amazing one. I mean, you can't even really see that mark. It looks like it's part of the background, John. Great choice for getting that at a 1 price.
Yeah, that's what I kind of thought too. It's sort of blended in. It's almost like, what is the moon in the sky? So
it's like an enhancement.
Totally clean on the back too. I mean,
yeah.
Felt like this was a very opportunistic one here.
Definitely.
Look at the card, right? Buy the card that's there, and that's a great looking card. Yeah.
So, all right. That is our picks for this show. Great job, guys. So,
yeah, those are wonderful. Right. Yeah, great looking cards to look at. Great last hour.
Yeah, once again, links to both Tony and Adam's channel will be down below. So please subscribe and support your fellow collectors. Any last thoughts to share with the audience? David, starting with you.
Well, first of all, John, thanks for having me. This was great. I think we killed it, guys. I think probably the best 5-card show yet. Wouldn't you agree? Right?
The ratings are going through the ceiling.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to give a plug to Reindeer Studios. I'm wearing one of his shirts. So Scott at Reindeer Studios. This is his polar bear shirt. So, but that's it.
Yeah,
thanks for
doing that. I will go ahead and link to his Etsy store down below. You can get your own shirts from Scott. He's got some great stuff.
It's all I wear every day is a Reindeer Studio shirt.
Yeah, good choice. All right, Tony, what about you?
Yeah, no, thank you, John, for looking at my email and checking back with me, and getting me on this. I really appreciate it. Part of why I started my channel is to also just meet other collectors. I've collected like so many of us in a silo since 1987 or 88 until the last 6 months ago. So to meet, interact, comment, like, subscribe, interview, and talk with you and others like you, and in the future too, just makes it more well-rounded. I'm enjoying it a lot more for different reasons than I was the first 30, 40 years of my collecting journey. So thanks for the reaching out again. And this was great. Love to do it.
All right. Great having you on the program. Adam, how about yourself?
I'm going to sit there and shout out Scott again.
Great artwork.
Awesome artwork. And you can even get his custom cards too on his little Etsy page or whatnot. But now this has been so much fun. I sit there and a little bit nervous when I sit there and before getting on, and then sitting there just hanging out with 3 like-minded collectors. This is a ton of fun. Recommend everybody else sitting there trying to hop on and show some of your beautiful cards in your collection too. I would enjoy watching and seeing what everybody else collects in this wonderful hobby of ours.
Well, thank you for joining, Adam. So everybody, once again, all you have to do to be on this screen sharing your own cards from your collection is email me at 4collectors@yahoo.com. It's that easy. You'll get invited. I'll throw you a StreamYard link. You click it when it's time for our appointment, and you're off and running. It's that easy, you know. It's like Ronco, set it and forget it, right? Send me that email, and the process is started. So, but everybody, thank you for watching, and we will see you next time on For Collectors.
Thanks,
guys.
John. Good meeting you, David, Adam. See you soon.
Likewise.
Love my hobby. Keep collecting baseball cards.
But hey, we want to keep the lights on here at Four Collectors Studios, so hit the like button for us, guys.
So thanks everybody for coming, and yeah, we'll see you next time on For Collectors.
All right, guys, have a great rest of your night. Subscribe to the Four Collectors channel if you haven't done so yet, and we'll see you soon.
All right, guys. Clemente Collector has said we hit a grand slam, so that makes me feel good.